We're marking the first anniversary of Amber Rudd, the Home Secretary's shocking decision not to launch an inquiry into the Battle of Orgreave that happened on the 18th of June 1984.
And why to have it on this day particularly?
Well, for one, it's the 1 year anniversary. Maybe it was no mistake that they announced that we wouldn't get an inquiry on Halloween night. One of the ex-miners made a joke at our press conference that it was Margaret Thatcher's ghost coming back to haunt us. And so we thought it'd be rude to let this opportunity pass.
When you heard the news, first of all, that she wasn't going to continue with this, how did it feel?
I was really angered and annoyed because the government had led us up the garden path for over a year. Lots of positive noises from Theresa May, then Home Secretary, now Prime Minister. She told us that she wanted to fight toxic injustices. She welcomed our legal document. But when it came down to it, they didn't have the guts to face their errors of the past. And now we're going to continue to make their life difficult until we get a full inquiry like the miners and our communities deserve.
Has her stance changed when she became Prime Minister, would you say?
I think it has. I think when she was Home Secretary, she was maybe trying to make a name for herself, and she was doing some things that were quite shocking for a Tory Home Secretary, actually. But since she's become Prime Minister, we all know what's happened to her now, don't we? And maybe it's fitting that we'll get to mark this tonight, because I can't see her being around for much longer.
For those that don't know then, what is this whole Orgreave Truth and Justice campaign? What was it about?
The Orgreave campaign was launched 5 years ago now, and we're trying to highlight the fact that at Orgreave on the 18th of June 1984, the police ran riot and beat up miners. And not only did they beat them up, but then they had the audacity to arrest them and then frame them for a crime they didn't commit. And no one's ever been held account for that. And 5 years later, we saw what happened at Hillsborough. The same media, the same government, the same police officers blamed the victims rather than tried to find out what really happened. And so we think that if we don't get justice for Orgreave, then the police are likely to repeat these wrongdoings. So we need to put this to bed, and then we can have justice in the future.
Has the Hillsborough incident give you confidence in hopefully seeking?
Massively, yeah. I work very closely with the Hillsborough campaigners, and all the Orgreave campaigners do, and their heroic struggle against a backdrop of lies and mistrust from the media. I mean, we've all got football friends who some of them said, you know what, the Liverpool fans might have done something wrong that day. And so when we've heard that they were proven right on all counts, we're just inspired by their heroic struggle. And if they can do it for football fans, then I'm sure we can do it for miners as well.
So here today, then 1 year on, what are we expecting?
We're expecting a huge crowd, a lot of fun. We get very bored in the Orgreave campaign of marchers from A to B that don't seem to achieve anything. So we want to get as much media attention as possible. You can see that people are dressed up and there's masks going around. We've got a 30-piece samba band. If you hang around, we've got a fire breather, a giant's going to come along, and we've even got a coffin. So we're hoping that Margaret Thatcher doesn't appear out of it.
And I guess it's a way of getting the attention of the younger crowd as well.
Yeah, we've got a huge gang of students coming down. I don't know if you've been up to the university recently. Every lamppost seems to have got a poster or sticker on it. And that's what it's about. It's about teaching the next generation to carry on the fight, because we're certainly not going to go away. And if the Conservative thinks that we'll go away quietly, they've got another thing coming.